Well, we're back to work on the Eagle here a little bit. As you guys saw, a lot of the brake stuff and doing that kind of thing. Now, since we did a lot of that, and we got a little weekend with everybody home, we're going to try to get some paint work done on the bottom of the car. So I'm actually going to paint all the brown on the bottom of this car blue, dark blue, like the white Eagle was, as well as my other blue Eagle, just because I'm not a big fan of the brown. And there's a little bit of rock chips and stuff on the bottoms of doors, and it's better to paint them before they actually just turn more into motley spots and stay rusty. So we're back in the shop again here. It's Saturday, getting a little more work done on the Eagle. We got some blue painted extra in the week and that kind of stuff. I forgot to do a lot of taping because we were kind of under a time crunch, just get some stuff pounded out. So basically, once we had the flares off, we painted the whole rocker blue behind where the flare sits. I got this flare back on. First screws in the bottom of it, everything like that. Some primer in the bottom of the doors, everything in that case. So this isn't the color I'm actually going to use. This is some color we had to put underneath the actual color. That way we're not wasting paint, since we had some paint hanging out that we weren't using. That usually just goes bad otherwise. So got this paint on right there. I'm going to put this flare back on here quick. Then we'll be ready to start pulling apart the driver's side. We were going to paint that whole side. We decided to skip it and just get the work done. And then we're going to actually go on this side, do some work over here too. Pull the rocker molding off. And then also possibly pull this molding off too, since we had kind of like a motley spot going on there already underneath it. You can see where the mold's kind of bubble up. And actually paint some tan on this door right here. Just paint this tan. Fix this dent right there. And then this door has a couple little tiny small marks right here, this kind of stuff. So we're probably gonna get rid of those too. Otherwise it's gonna look like crap in a year or two and after the winter. So we just fixed some of those right now. Don't have to worry about it again. So same as well as we kind of were painting in the first place. Always a little kind of just, rock chips. They create a little orange. They just look, they just won't last long in the salt. It'll kind of exacerbate them really quickly. So protecting the car before sea salt is kind of the best option here. So we're gonna go and pull the rocker molding off, kind of pull the flares back, get some more dirt out of this side, and get that moving. I spent a little time last night getting the driver's side masked up and the molding pulled off. So I got all this stuff. I got all the main moldings masked up. I got that one pulled back currently, so I can pull this off, as you guys saw. We got the rocker molding off, and then we'll kind of get this off. I did get this door molding off because of that motley spot right there. And I gotta say, I commend the masking job for the brown on this car from the factory. It's nice and straight. Just a little two inches a little high on the other side over there. But this car's built, I think, in if I remember right, July of '87. So it's getting towards the end of when the care and give a shit was kind of gone. Hence the most stuff going on the drain. So as you can see, it's pretty much angled. This is kind of the spot we're talking about right here, which got a little deep. So we're gonna fix that spot right there, and then we're also gonna fix this dent over here. It's right kind of on the beam on the inside of the door. So we'll pop that out, kind of get this leveled out that way, and get this bottoms of the doors kind of sanded down, so we're ready to prime those along with all this stuff, and then get the rocker all cleaned up, so we can get the peeling paint off of that, get that resprayed up with everything else. So I do have to say, I pulled my inner fender out on this side, and it's kind of nice to see this nice tan paint up here and everything, and looking nice and clean up in here. So anyway, we're gonna get the DA fired up here and get some of this sanded off, and we'll get some masking done and get some stuff fixed, and then we'll be ready to put some primer on here in a little bit. We're getting some primer put on over here anyway. Got a little bit of body work done earlier. Shouldn't really take too much. Basically just a little bit of work on the door up here, and then a little bit of work on the dog leg on that far side. So everything all straightened out. This is for the brown mostly. So get this primer put on today, and then we'll get a little bit of blue put on probably tomorrow. We're getting there anyway. Morning there, guys. It's Saturday. Back out in the shop again. Gonna get the blue paint on the Eagle today. So we're gonna get going on masking up some of the rest of the car, kind of getting this primer sanded out, getting ready to go, and then we'll get the blue spray by the end of the day today. So let's get to it. First things first, I got this side mostly put together again. I gotta finish masking up some of the moldings and stuff. We're gonna actually paint it with the doors closed, because we already sprayed the jams, as you guys probably didn't see, but that's all right. The driver's side, we got this sprayed last time, so we got basically some color behind everything over here and all this stuff, and on this molding here too. And then cleaned up some of the rust off of it. There's just some surface rust, this kind of stuff that needed to be sealed up again. It wasn't sealed up the best originally, so went through all that, and got all this looking nice and good on both sides of the car. I'll probably pop that rocker down there when I pull the step plate out, but anyway. So We'll get all this ready to go, get all the flares masked up, sanded, ready to go. I'll show you guys how we do this. Well, I spent a few minutes here getting some of the flares back on anyway. Got all these screws back in, got this molding installed again, got the rocker molding pulled back into its place. Still got to put the screws in the bottom yet, which I'm going to do that in a second. And I got the rear front fender back together again, which wasn't too bad to do. Just straighten on the molding here a little bit, nothing ridiculous. And then got all these fresh clips back in, got that done with, so now we're ready to I'll finish the bottom up, and then we'll start masking up this side and the whole rest of the car. And get ready to start sanding, and then it'll be colored in a little while. Well, masking's coming along anyway. Got the passenger side most of the way done. Kind of masked up around the bumper here and stuff. Usually what we like to do is put the blue tape, get close to the edge, and finish the edge off with some nice high quality 3M actual masking tape for vehicles, for automotive paint, basically masking tape. So on these moldings right here too, I always like to take the blue tape, put this middle one in backwards. That way it doesn't pull on the silver portion. Because sometimes they'll rip the plastic off those and screw those moldings up on these cars. So I always put it in the backwards way like this, the blue backwards and the stuff around the outside to protect that. Moldings, as you kind of saw, I put the blue on first and then finished the inside edge with tan, or the yellow I should say. It used to be tan for many, many years. So kind of do your edge conditions kind of like this. That one doesn't have molding on it, so we're painting all where the primer is, and the molding will go back on the door once we're done. Same as up here in the front, kind of working around these and right here in the bottom of the fender edge right there and around the top of the flare. And then we're actually going to paint the valence up in here too. So we got some paper stuffed up in the hole here. We'll tape this edge off around here. This isn't quite done yet. It's kind of just got some stuff in there for the time being. And that way we can paint our valence and get that all looking good too. And then finish this corner right here as well. That's how I mask the bottom of these cars anyway. It's a pretty simple setup in all truthfulness. I asked to talk about the doors. Since we have the jambs masked already, as you can tell, there's still paper was still up in there from before, so that we left that alone. Usually what we can do though on all these seams right here is we'll actually take blue tape, put it on the back side of this lip, shut the door, and then tuck it in so it's actually sealing to the car right here around the whole door like that. And the bottom will have a piece sticking up too. That way the paint can't get past this area and into the jam and make the jam look like crap from the overspray. So it's not too bad. It's a pretty simple setup. It's more just kind of playing around with tape, putting it in the right locations to get your outcome in the end, more or less. So now we're gonna get the passenger side all finished up. My dad's just about done with the front actually. I'll get the back here done. And I'll be ready to kind of get the front of the car fixed up quick, and then we'll be ready to do some sanding, get ready to spray. As you guys saw on the time lapse, got everything all taped up, ready to go that way. All taping done. Mom's putting a blanket over the back room so we don't get any paint back there. So then we took some Scotch-Brite, went over all this stuff, and the biggest thing is making sure you get all your nooks and crannies, like alongside the edges molding right here, sanding the doors with a regular chunk of paper, got all this masked up, and then also just, you know, getting all your nooks and little crannies, cleaning your screws off, that way the paint sticks to them nicely, and then masked up all in here like this, just a easy setup this way. You can kind of mask across your radiator, and then kind of get your paper kind of shoved up in this hole to seal off this section right here too. So, and then same over here, basically just getting all your nooks and crannies and all your little edges, you know, being really meticulous in that case to make sure you have all the edges sanded, otherwise you'll have peeling on the edges of everything. So, but that's pretty much the main thing over here. So pretty much gonna after we got this Scotch-Brited, or Scotch-Brite's kind of like a steel wool kind of material, but it's not. It's more of a fiber, which has a great abrasive value to it, so you can kind of flex it around, get all the little edges very nicely that way without being a chunk of paper in that case. And anyway, so now we got all that done. We're actually gonna do some tack rigging on this, get all the dust off it, and we're pretty much ready to paint after that. So this is a sticky kind of cloth. It's actually got obviously a tack to it. This picks up all the dust off the car, as you can kind of see right here. And see how it's all dusty once you go by. It's all smooth, one color. So it allows you to prep the panel that way and get all the dust off, so you have none in your paint. Now, along with that, we'll get the mixing information from the master over here. All right, ready to go. So there is a single stage Omnicoat here. You kind of talk about the operations.
So anyway, it's a mixed ratio. Read the cup, tells you the stuff on the side of the cup with the type of paint you have, ratios. This is 8:1:1, so you can see that it's 8 parts paint, 1 part hardener and 1 part reducer. And then flexible additive we're going to be using along the bottom, because obviously it's rubber body pieces. Without flexible additive, then you run into problems with the paint cracking and falling off. So I'm making the darker color. I was just using up some of the other paint I had left over, which is a light blue from a different project, and making the darker color that goes over the top of it. So originally we'll put 2 light coats on, which will be lighter metallic blue like we put on the dams already. Then we'll put the top coat, which is a darker blue.
So we're using the 8:1 scale right here. Right now we're not quite to the 3 line.
So then here is the hardener we put in, so this will be 1 part. So that'll bring us up to the next number 3 line. Then we're going to put reducer in, which will bring us up to the next number 3 line. And then when we're done, we put 10% to the flexible additive.
On top of all of it. Now we got being all tack rigged, ready to go. That's testing out the gun. We'll get ready to spray here in a second. So we're starting out with a light coat first anyway. As you kind of see, we're not fully covering everything. We're just kind of leaving a nice light coat to get the base going, and then we'll kind of start covering it fully as we get going. Working on getting the edges covered first and not worrying about the panel. You basically want to make sure you get your edges covered. Make sure they have paint before you worry about the main panel, otherwise you'll end up with too much paint on the panel. Because by the time you work on all your edges, you're usually in a pretty good spot to have it all pretty much wrapped right up. Pull this off for a couple seconds. So as you can see, basically our first coat, more or less, more focused on the edges, getting those covered, getting that taken care of, and making all that stuff look good. And then we'll kind of focus more on the main panels you usually see on the second coat, getting those fully filled in. As you can see, the doors right now kind of are a little bit on the lighter side, but that's fine because we're focused on the edges against the moldings on the bottom edges, so everything has color covered everywhere. Otherwise, you focus on the main panel first, you end up putting runs in the middle of the panel, and you're trying to get them edges perfect the way they're supposed to be. So anyway, what we're going to do is let this dry for a few minutes. Just kind of turn the fan on, get some stuff out of here, and then we'll get back to you with round 2 in a second. We got our final cup mixed up.
Waiting on the final color anyway. This is actually the dark blue to be the original color they have on these cars for the bottom. We're going to finish up with our final coat on here, get everything out nice and dark blue. And we're ready to let her dry for the night. We get it all on and come back out here tomorrow on the mast. That's a wrap of the paint job on the bottom half of the tan Eagle. No more brown anymore. We got some nice dark blue on this thing.
Much cleaner looking setup like this. I'm more a blue fan than I'm a brown fan, so as we're gonna get the gun clean right now, and we'll get out of here in a few minutes, and then we'll come out here tomorrow morning and get her all unmasked. So we actually didn't get it unmasked on Sunday. We were more working on the newsletter, which most of you guys are part of the AMC crowd know what we're talking about. We're at a newsletter for the event we host every year. But anyway, so we left most of the masking on, and we're going to leave a lot of the masking on, actually. We're going to pull it up just a little bit here on the driver's side so we can paint the door right here. Paint the tan on the car. So we're just going to leave everything else on it. Just that little bit's going to move, and we'll mask up all the blue. But anyway, overview of the paint job. Actually nice and dried. Looks all nice and fresh. Nice and shiny on the side of the car. Look nice and clean. And it's more of a driver quality paint job. That's why we didn't spend a lot of time, like say we'll say block sanding it, putting lots of primer on it. Which the point was making it nice shiny blue on the bottom, so it's not brown anymore. I think we definitely accomplished that. That's kind of a wrap for this video, so I'll catch y'all on the next one. Well, thank you guys for watching this channel. If you enjoyed what you saw, hit that like button, smash the subscribe button there too. We'll catch y'all later.